Hi students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions. So as we already know about the score examination, right? So Sri Chaitanya Academy is providing you an opportunity for the national level scholarship examination, which will be applicable for the students from grade 3 to 12. The exam will be conducted for September 28 as well as the October 12. The first phase will be conducted on the September 28. So you can see over here, right, 2.5 crore of cash rewards will be given here, and NASA trips, exciting gadgets, and up to 100% scholarship will be provided for the students who are getting good marks in the score examination. So let us see in detail about the score examination. So as we already know, it is conducted by the Sri Chaitanya Academy national level scholarship examination for grade 3 to 12, right? Then format will be online as well as offline. If you are choosing the offline option, you need the option to attend the exam on the offline centers of Sri Chaitanya. Then our goal is to identify and reward the academic talent. Okay, now here we need to talk about the grade 10 syllabus, right? We have already discussed part 1 of the paper discussion for the score examination for grade 10. Here we are going to the second part 2 for the paper discussion here. So what about the syllabus? As we already know, right? Structure of atom from grade 9 will be one of the syllabus. Then chemical reactions and equations, metals and non-metals, acid, bases and salt. These are the 3 important chapters from the grade 10 over here. So as we already know, in the case of exam pattern, you will be getting questions from mental ability, maths as well as science. There will be 15 questions for chemistry, physics and bio, each for total 45 questions. 120 minutes will be the examination duration. So these are the important topics you need to focus more for the score examination. So let us start from our first question. Okay, read the question carefully. This is a question from the metals and non-metals. A metal and a non-metal that exist in liquid state at the room temperature are respectively. Read the question carefully. It is asking about the metal as well as non-metal in the case of room temperature. I mean, liquid metal and liquid non-metal at the room temperature. So option C is the correct answer. Liquid metal is mercury and liquid non-metal is bromine here, right? Mercury and bromine. So option C is the correct answer here. Here is our next question. Which of the following statements is true for an amphoteric oxide? So we have already studied the case of oxide. They will be forming acidic oxide, basic oxides and amphoteric oxides. So what is the meaning of amphoteric oxides? How it is connected to these options given here? Read the options one by one. Yes, option C will be the correct answer, right? It reacts with both acid as well as base to form salt and water. So as we already know, generally whenever these oxides are reacting with acids or bases, they will be forming salt and water here. So amphoteric oxides are the one which is reacted with both acid as well as base. Otherwise, they have the same character of both acidic as well as base. So option C will be the correct answer for the case of amphoteric oxide. Clear? Now here is the next question. Consider the following compounds FeSO4, CuSO4, CaSO4 and Na2CO3. The compound having maximum number of water of crystallization in its crystalline form in one molecule is. Read the question carefully. We have already know what is the meaning of water of crystallization, right? So we need to identify. These are the different compounds. They will be having the water of crystallization. So which one is having the maximum number of water of crystallization over there, right? So this is about the FeSO4, right? FeSO4, CuSO4, CaSO4 and Na2CO3. As we already know, in the case of Na2CO3, there will be 10 H2O, right? This is known as the washing soda. Then if you are comparing other options, it will be less than 10 here. So what will be our correct answer? Option D will be the correct answer. Na2CO3.10 H2O is the correct answer here, washing soda. Now we are moving to the next question. A student, while burning a magnesium ribbon in air, collected the product in a wet watch glass. The new product obtained was. whether it is magnesium oxide, magnesium carbonate, magnesium hydroxide, or the magnesium chloride. So this is the first experiment we have already studied in our CBSE classes. While discussing about the chemical reactions and equations. Yes, it will be magnesium oxide, right? Magnesium oxide. Chemical formula will be MgO, right? So option A is the correct answer. Now we are moving to the next question. This is again, the question is based on the chapter of chemical reactions and equations. When 2 milliliter of sodium hydroxide solution is added to few pieces of granulated zinc in a test tube and then warmed, the reaction that occurs can be written in the form of a balanced chemical equation as. Read the question carefully. Treatment of sodium hydroxide with zinc granules, right? Zinc granules. If you are treating sodium hydroxide NaOH with the zinc, what will be product forming here? We need to identify the corresponding balanced chemical equation. So as we already know, whenever sodium hydroxide treated with the metal, they will be forming the corresponding salt. So what will be the salt forming here? It will be Na2SN2, right? Na2SN2. Now we need to focus on the balanced chemical equation here. So if you are taking here, this will be 2 sodium and this is again 2 sodium, right? This is again 2 sodium. What about this is zinc? Zinc again 1. Oxygen is 2 here and hydrogen is again 2 here, which means that option B will be the correct balanced chemical equation for the particular reaction. But it's the main point I have to keep in mind that whenever you are treating sodium hydroxide with the zinc, we will be getting the corresponding salt as sodium zincate. Clear? So here we need to identify the balanced chemical equation. Here is the next question. The sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. The balanced equation which represents the above reaction is. Read the question carefully. Sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. They have already given the chemical equation inverse. We need to convert into the chemical formula of the chemical equation in the format, right? Sodium reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So what will be the correct answer here? Again option B, right? Sodium will treat with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. If I compare the number of atoms over here in the second option, they will be giving the correct balanced chemical equation. So 2Na plus 2H2 gives 2NaOH plus H2 will be the correct answer here. So option B is the correct answer. Now here is the next question. Study the following chemical reaction. 2Na plus 2H2 gives 2NaOH plus hydrogen. The reducing agent in the reaction is. Again the question is from the chemical reactions and equation. We just want to identify the reducing agent produced in this particular reaction. Again, option A is the correct answer, right? I will write down the chemical equation here. We need to identify whether they are undergoing reduction or oxidation based on the oxidation number concept, right? Oxygen state concept. So 2Na plus 2H2 gives 2NaOH plus hydrogen, right? So what is happening here if I am asking about the case of oxygen state of sodium here, it is in the metal form 0. Then what about the case of water? It is again +1 and -2. Then in the case of Na, this will be +1 and OH will be minus. Hydrogen will be 0. So what is happening here for the sodium only? Sodium is increasing its oxygen state from 0 to +1, which means that they are undergoing oxidation, right? They are undergoing oxidation. So what do you mean by the reducing agent? The reducing agent are the substance which will be undergoing oxidation by itself and helping the reduction of other substance, right? What is happening here? Sodium will be helping the reduction of hydrogen here by undergoing itself oxidation. So this will be the reducing agent. Sodium will be the reducing agent here. So option A is the correct answer here. Now we are moving to the next question. The chemical reaction between copper and oxygen can be categorized as chemical reaction between copper and oxygen, whether it is an displacement reaction, decomposition reaction, combination reaction, or double displacement reaction. Reactions are already given here whenever we are treating copper and oxygen. What is happening here? Yes, it will be the reaction, right? Copper will react with oxygen to form CuO, right? So we need to do the balancing over here. So what is obtaining here? Whenever two or more reactants are combined together to form the single product, that particular reaction is known as the combination reaction. So what will be the correct answer? Option C is the correct answer. Whenever copper and oxygen combine together to form, they will be forming a single compound of oxide here, which means that if you are containing any of the chemical reaction in which two reactants are, one or more reactants are combined together to form the single product, that particular reaction is known as the combination reaction, right? Yes. Here is the next question. Read the question carefully. Rima took 5 milliliter of lead nitrate solution in a beaker, added approximately 4 milliliter of potassium iodide solution to it. What would she observe? This is completely based on the chemical reaction here. Whenever we are treating lead nitrate with the potassium iodide, right? Potassium iodide, what is happening there? What is the chemical reaction there? What is the product formed there? I hope you may have idea about the chemical reaction. What is happening there? If you write down the chemical reaction in terms of the equation, lead nitrate, right? PbNO3 twice plus potassium iodide, right? What this forming? This is forming. It will be forming lead iodide plus potassium nitrate. Lead iodide plus potassium nitrate. So what is happening here? In the experimental observation, you can see that the complete reaction will be changed to an yellow precipitate of PbI2. This will be forming an yellow precipitate of lead iodide, right? Yellow precipitate of the lead iodide. So what will be our correct answer here? Option B will be the correct answer. Option B will be the correct answer. Yellow precipitate was formed. So this is a good question from the chapter acid, bases and salts. The following table shows, following table will be showing the pH values of 4 solutions A, B and C. A, B, C and D over here. I hope you can see the image clearly here. We want to identify whether they are strong acid, weak acid, strong base or weak base. This is the pH scale. First one, this is our first substance A or solution A, and this is B. This is C and this one is D. So what is the nature of A, B, C and D? So how we can predict whether it is acid, base or neutral depending upon the pH value? If pH is greater than 7, that is known as the basic solution, right? If I am asking about here, this will be from 1 to 6, it will be acidic solution, right? pH less than 7. Then what about the case of 7? It will be neutral. Then from 8 to 14, this will be the pH scale. From 8 to 14, it will be basic solution, right? So if pH is greater than 7, it will be basic. If pH is less than 7, it will be acidic, right? Now you can predict the nature of these solutions given here, whether it is strong acid, weak acid or strong base or weak base, right? So if I'm asking about the case of first case, right? A is having the pH of 5. So what will be the nature, whether it is strong acid or weak acid? So if you are moving here, acidic character decreases, right? If you are moving from here, acidic character increases, which means that this 5 will be weak acid or strong acid. So it will be weak acid, right? It will be weak acid. So A will be weak acid. Then what about the case of B? B means pH is equal to 7, which means that this is the neutral solution. So weak acid, neutral. Then what about the case of base? C is given here. They will be having the pH is equal to 13, which means pH is more than that of the 7 value, which means this will be the strong base. right? Strong base. C will be the strong base. Then what about the case of option D? Option D means they are belongs to the acidic solution. They will be having very least pH of 3, which means that these are strong acid. So what will be our correct answer? First one will be weak acid. Second one is neutral. Third one is strong base. And last one is strong acid, which means option D will be the correct answer. So this is also very important. You can expect this type of question from the chapter acid, bases and salts depending upon the pH scale. Here is the next question. Consider the following compounds HCl, C2H5OS, C6H12O6, H2SO4. Which of these compounds do not conduct electricity in the solution? So in the case of score examination, out of 15 questions, 5 questions will be those type of questions which will be getting more than one answers. So you can expect for this question you will be getting more than one answers. So read the options one by one. Which one do not conduct electricity in the solution? Or otherwise you can think about that which of the following are not electrolyte, non-electrolyte or the not electrolytes. So option 2 and 3, right? Option 2 and 3 means C2H5OH. This is our ethanol. And what about here? C6H12O6 means this is glucose, right? These are the organic compounds. These are not dissociate into their ions, right? So these are organic compounds. These are not dissociate into their ions. So if they are not dissociating their ions, they will not conduct electricity, right? These are non-electrolytes. These are not electrolytes, they will not conduct electricity. So option 2 and 3 will be the correct answer here. While if you are comparing HCl and H2SO4, they will be conducting electricity, right? They will be forming different ions over there, then they will conduct electricity. Now here is the next question. Which of the following salts do not have the water of crystallization? So this is very important. This type of substance we have already studied in the cases second chapter, acid, bases and salts, right? We have already known what is the chemical formula of bleaching powder, plaster of Paris, washing soda and baking soda. Again, this question is based on the more than one, they will be having more than one answers. So what about the case of bleaching powder? What is the chemical formula of bleaching powder? It will be CaOCl2, right? Then what about the case of plaster of Paris? Calcium sulfate dot half H2, right? Semihydrate. Then washing soda means Na2CO3 dot 10 H2O. Then baking soda means NaHCO3, right? So if you are comparing here, you can say that if you are comparing here in the case of first and fourth compound, there is no any water of crystallization. But in the case of plaster of Paris, it is having CaSO4 dot half H2O, and for washing soda, it is Na2CO3 dot 10 H2O. So which one is not having the water of crystallization? 1 and 4, right? Bleaching powder and baking soda. So 1 and 4 are the correct answers here. Then one more point you have to keep in mind that if they are asking about the case of gypsum, it is again CaSO4 dot 2 H2O. Here is our next question. Vinay observed that the stain of curry on a white shirt become reddish brown when soap is scrubbed on it, but it turns yellow again when the shirt is washed with plenty of water. What might be the reason for this observation? The question is feeling a little bit lengthy, but it is completely based on the acid, base and salt. We have already studied the natural indicators, right? So here turmeric will be act as a natural indicator. So what will be the correct answer for this question? If you are considering the turmeric as a natural indicator, what is happening to their color change, whether it is acidic medium or basic medium? So 2 and 3 will be the correct answer, right? Soap is already basic in nature. Then turmeric is a natural indicator which gives reddish tinge with bases. So turmeric is a natural indicator. If you are treating this turmeric or the natural indicator in the basic medium, they will be giving a reddish color, right? So soap is basic in nature. Turmeric is a natural indicator which gives reddish tinge in the bases. So option 2 and 3 will be the correct answers here. Here is the next question. Choose the correct sets of reactions. Maybe you can get more than one answers here. Choose the correct set of reactions. This question is completely based on the type of chemical reactions. So option A is given here. Magnesium is treated with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, whether it is an oxidation reaction or not. Then second option is given here. If you are treating with calcium oxide and water, it will be forming calcium hydroxide, and this is an exothermic reaction. And AgCl will be break to form Ag, silver and chlorine. So this is the decomposition reaction. And the last one, copper oxide and hydrogen will be combined to form copper and water. So this is the reduction reaction. So we need to identify whether these are correct states or not. So if we are comparing the complete 4 reactions, you can say that all the 4 reactions are completely right, because these are the oxidation reactions. This is again true. Then what about the case of second reaction? This is again exothermic reaction, right, which means they are releasing heat. So this is again true. What about the case of third one? Ag will be dissociated from Ag and Cl2, which means that a single product is dissociated from 2 different reactants, 2 different products, right? So this is not another decomposition reaction, which is opposite of the combination reaction. So this is again true here. And what about the case of last one? Copper oxide is treating with hydrogen to form copper and water, which means again this is the addition of hydrogen known as the reduction reaction, which means that all the given options are correct. A, B, C and D are the correct options. Here is our last question. Calcium oxide reacts vigorously with a water to produce liquid lime. CaO plus H2 gives CaOH twice. This reaction can be classified as, read the question carefully, which type of chemical reaction it is. So option A and B, right? So as we already know, whenever more than one reactants combine together to form a single product, this type of reaction is known as a combination reaction, right? Combination reaction. Now, if you are asking about the terms of temperature, it is again exothermic reaction that we have already discussed. So, what about the case of this particular reaction? It will be forming exothermic reaction. So, A and B are the correct answers. Both are combination reaction. This reaction is combination as well as the exothermic reaction. So, option A and B will be the correct answer here. So, this is all about the 15 questions from the SCORE previous year questions. So, I'm just giving a reminder again, September 28 and October 12 is the date for the SCORE examination. You need to register by using this website provided here. So, before September 26, you need to register for the examination for the September 28. So, that's all about from my side for today. Thank you so much all of you. If you really like the session, hit the like button. So, share this particular session to your friends and subscribe our channel. Keep connected with us for more updates. Thank you.